So hello and welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a fall tour and so that you can see how things have grown and evolved. Excuse my yard because I've been away for a couple days and I really haven't done anything to my yard. But the good news is that things have gotten really big over the season, especially in the last few months since I put my irrigation system in. So I'm going to talk to you about that. Also, I'm going to give you a little update on the mimosa trees. So lots to talk about this morning, so let's get started. I just want to quickly mention that there is a lot of construction going on still around my home, and so you might hear some of that. So let's get started. I'm going to start right here where I always start, which is in my driveway, and I'm going to move from my porch garden, my front driveway garden, and just work my way forward. So I'm going to turn the camera around. You won't see me anymore. Okay, like I mentioned, I'm going to start on my porch site and my driveway garden, as I always do on most of my tours. And then I'm going to work my way forward. But look at how lush, look at how large this has gotten. This is my porch side garden right here. And my salvias on both sides has gotten, oh my gosh, they've just grown really big. And they have bloomed nonstop this season. This is about the second or third season that I've had them here. And this one here, I moved around this earlier this year. And look at how big it is. It's huge. And it's even overshadowing my oregano hoplite right here. But it's still growing big. These will be cut back. I will be adding dirt here. Because I've got some beautiful white daffodils that I can't wait to show them to you next spring. But I will be planting some daffodil bulbs in here, hopefully today. But that will be filled with dirt. But oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even begin to mention how happy I am with my irrigation system. And it has totally changed my life. Look at how big this is. And because it's getting proper watering, everything is still green by this time of the year every year. Since for the past 10 years, my lilies are completely done. That is completely bare. And now they're just still green. And I'm really happy about that. The other thing is that look at this red valerian over here. It is still blooming. This should be dying down. And yeah, I mean, just things are looking really great. And I do have the sun on my back, so hopefully I can do this without a lot of glare. But even my heuchera over here, and I don't know the variety, but even this heuchera has suffered over the years. And now that it's getting equal amount of water, it has gotten big, and I'm so happy about that. And look at my self-watering container. It is still doing good. It's still, I mean, it's kind of bare, let's be honest, because a lot of the things didn't work out. But what did work out is both of my heucheras, my lamium, which, you know, I expected those to do good anyway. And it does get shade there, so that's why my heucheras are doing really, really well. We'll see what happens next spring, because I will be getting more light in this yard. But yeah, everything there is doing great. But there are some things that are out of season now, like my stargazer over here, that's done. And but other things are going strong. My Kenneth lily, is getting bigger, and that's going to get much, much bigger next year. I may end up replacing that for a more colorful one, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and then maybe putting that somewhere else, because I think it just needs a little bit of brighter color in this corner. But everything's doing good. And then on this side, look at, excuse my shadow, let me move out of the way. But my lilies over here on this side, still green, still looking beautiful. Even the two that I moved over look so much better. My Bernina Jack Frost are doing really great. The Sombrero Echinaceas doing still good. And now my amenity here, the foliage looks really nice and healthy and great. So it's got a lot of promise. The flowers didn't quite bloom as I'd hoped, but you know what? It was just time to get it established, so I'm okay with that. I think things are going to do really good here next year. Now I'm just hoping that it's not going to be too much sun, because as you saw on my last video, my mimosa trees got damaged. And because of that, so I will just bring you up and show you my mimosa trees while I'm here. Both of these almost don't have any limbs left on them. But one thing that I did do is that I ended up hiring a guy to take off all the dead limbs and remove a lot of the limbs that were actually cascading over the yard. Now I couldn't take them all out because I do have to have a balance so that it grows healthy and that it doesn't topple over, and hopefully it doesn't get damaged throughout the winter season. But it pretty much doesn't have any leaves at all, so there's not a whole lot other than the limbs to get damaged, and hopefully it'll survive and do well. This is the one that got damaged, and it basically only has 3 limbs on it. We still are looking at FedEx to see what they're going to do about it, because we had an arborist and he said chances are it's not going to survive. So that's a little update on that. But yeah, everything here is going to look good. Next year I will be planting here. I'm excited about that. This mum over here, it's going on about the 3rd season. They've never really bloomed for me other than when I bought them. So I don't know what color this is going to be, but it's getting its blooms. Look at that. It's getting a lot of blooms. Now it's kind of slow because it's pretty shaded there, but we'll see what happens. But it's getting some blooms. We'll see what color it is. But this is now its permanent home right here. I think it looks great. It just kind of finished off this container. It's a beautiful container, and I don't really want to throw dirt in it. So just putting a pot over it works for me. Let me know what you guys think, because I battle with that all the time, of whether I should put dirt in it, fill it with some other stuff as fillers, and then just putting a little bit of dirt and planting on it, or just putting a pot. So leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And then I have 2 President Clematis here, and I started clipping them, and so I do need to clean that up. That's something that I'm going to be doing. Over on this garden here, everything seems to be just staying green. And a lot of it has to do with equal watering and getting the right amount of water. But everything here looks really good. Now, when this mimosa tree before it got damaged, a lot of the limbs were cascading over this direction. What I was going to say about that is that this year, it really kind of threw a lot of limbs and garbage and just shedding, and it made it really sticky this year. And so these kind of look a little rough, but they're still doing good. These are lamium, of course. And my wild rose should be completely dying off, and it's still going strong. This spot on over here is always flopped over because it doesn't get consistent water. And since it's been getting consistent watering, I'm telling you guys, consistent watering your plants and giving them the right amount every day will help your plants tremendously. Everything here has gotten big, and this one is not flopping over anymore. In fact, I have another one right down here, which I do need to remove and place it elsewhere, because it's really underneath my Japanese maple, and you really can't see it over even in the springtime. But look at this mum. This is the other one that I had. And look at how beautiful. It just really bloomed for me this year. And I am loving it. It's such a fall color, and I love it. And this is now its permanent home. I keep vacillating, so I need your help, because I keep vacillating of whether I should just go ahead and plant that in the ground and pull this large leaf oak leaf hydrangea and placing it here because of its structure. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. Should I just leave things alone, or should I swap them? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, I'm losing my leaves on my Japanese maples. So then on this side of my garden, which is my south porch garden over here, everything is doing really, really great. I couldn't be happier. Let me bring you up close. But everything here is doing great. I even still have one flower left here. But they're pretty much done blooming for the summer. I do see that I'm getting another bloom over here. This is a bee balm, and I really don't even understand why it's still blooming. But maybe having the mimosa tree limb cut out gave it the proper sun. But I'm even getting more flowers here. This is crazy for this time of the year. But yeah, in this little bare area, I may end up doing something a little different, but for the most part, it's doing really great. And of course, my spiderwort here reemerged, and it looks great. I do have another echinacea right here, and of course, look at my Jscursions. Both of them are doing fantastic. They're still in bloom. Got a lot of blooms on this one. I mean, I don't know a lot about dahlias. Maybe you guys know how long they bloom, but this year they're just still blooming. These I'll have to pin up next year because they are kind of crowding a little bit of my fuchsia over here. And this is an old fuchsia. I don't want to lose that. And speaking of that, this rockin' salvia, look at how big it's gotten. I mean, the thing is huge. If I'm going to keep this rockin' salvia, I'm going to have to pin it or do something to keep it more contained, because right now it's just flopping all over so much that it's covering up my Rose of Sharon over there. So here is one of my Bernina Jack Frost. And look at how beautiful and big that is. Usually around this time of the year, it's already flopping over, and it is doing fantastic. This is how big they get. They get huge. So in that other area over by my front driveway garden, they're going to look gorgeous once they get this big. Of course, this is about probably, I don't know, 5 years old, but it's beautiful. What I really love about Berninias Jack Frost is that the snails or slugs don't get to them because of its rough texture. The leaves on them are really rough in the bottom, and they're rough on the top. So it's almost like a emery board. And so because of that, they stay away from them. And I really like that. And like I said, these are my old-time favorite. I even like them even a little bit better than hostas because the bugs don't really get to them. And both of my clematises are doing really nice and strong. They're climbing up since they're getting proper watering. Both of my lucid is it Lucid Dream or Dream Lucid? Heucheras, both of them are doing great in this area. Finally, my Veronica Sylvia is finally doing something this year. I've never seen this bloom in about 5 years that I've had it. But this one here is just even still in bloom. And it's growing. So, loving that. My Miss Piggies are getting bigger. Lamion's gotten bigger. I did end up putting a daisy over here. Forget the name of it. If I can think of what it is, I'll put it down. But that's looking really great and promising for next year. And then on this container here, I went and put some hop-like oregano plants in it. They didn't make it. It's just part of gardening, I guess. Some things just die for no particular reason. It's getting proper watering. As you can see, my Spanish lavender is doing just perfectly fine. But maybe it was the wrong mixture. I'm not sure. Maybe I planted it too late in the season. We'll see what comes up next spring. But they're done. For now, anyway. But look at this butterfly shrub. Now, I am torn. I am completely torn because this is providing some shade for my shade garden. Now that my mimosa tree, it may still provide some shade. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. If I have to remove this mimosa tree, it's going to open it up. So I'm now indecisive of what to do with this. I was going to put it in a container, but I don't know. It may be too much for this area. Last fall, I cut it way down. I will be doing that again. I trimmed it last fall, and it survived, and it did beautifully. So I don't know, but I just absolutely love butterfly shrubs. They're beautiful. This is providing, again, more shade and providing the shade that I need for this other area, which is my shade garden. These daylilies are still staying green, and I don't know. Usually by now they're completely gone, so we'll see. Over here I have another Dissol, and it's just flopped over. Gonna have to do something different there next year. My Bishop Dahlia has never gotten this large in the years of having it. Since I've been giving it sufficient watering, it has gotten huge, so big that it's actually covering my Japanese maple tree here. Look at it. It's just really overshadowing it. But it's still beautiful. It's still blooming and gorgeous. So I don't know. I may have to do something different next year. We'll see. This is an euphorbia, and I keep threatening to remove it because I love it. It's beautiful in the spring, but I really kind of want to put maybe a pinnacle hydrangea right there for some height. I keep saying that. I don't know. I do have a Golden Gate euphorbia. This one is a small one. This one only gets about 3 feet tall, and it's doing gorgeous. I love the foliage on it. So that's here to stay. On this side, my red heuchera is coming back to life. All of my helleborus are popping back up. All the helleborus that I've had, in fact, this one, I've had this one for several years, and every year it flops over. I put a little brace around it, but I don't know what to think of that. And I love helleborus, but they flop on me every year. If you guys know how I can prevent that from happening, let me know. I just noticed something here. I'm going to stop for 1 second. Look at this. I've got a lot of new growth on this. Way down here. This is something new for me. This is unusual, isn't it? I've never seen that before. So I will be cutting this straight across and pray that it stays like that next year. My spot on it's doing beautiful. This one's gotten eaten up by snails. Got to do something about that next year. Here's another Bernina. Jack Frost, still looking gorgeous. And everything here is just looking beautiful. And let me bring you over here. Let me back up, because this, I want to mention this Virginia Jack Frost. This has suffered over the years many, many times because it gets too much sun. Having this Golden Gate has really helped with shading it. This is what I'm talking about, how beautiful Virginia Jack Frost do in shade. They just have this filtered light. That's all they get. They don't get direct light. And look at how beautiful they do. You can see them kind of sprinkled in my yard because they just are gorgeous, beautiful plants. They stand out in a garden. The silver leaves are just gorgeous. The veins on these are beautiful. I can't say enough about this plant. This, if you are new to gardening, you could put this in a container by your porch and it would look beautiful. So keep that in mind. I just absolutely love them. And then over here I have another hosta here. This hosta got ate by snails, got shredded, and I got to do something about that for next year. But this one has always suffered because getting too much sun. But having that butterfly, having this butterfly shrub here really has provided the shade for these. So I'm so indecisive what to do with that butterfly shrub. I'm excited about this plant. Look at this. This is my kumquat. Now, I will have to take it in more of a sheltered area for the winter because it's not zoned for 8B. But look at the kumquats that I've got. Look at these. I am so excited about how many kumquats I have. And I love kumquats. And this is filled with kumquat. And these will grow about up to 10 feet tall. So I will be in a container for the rest of its life because I don't want it to get that big. But look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. I got to move on from that. But here is my red valerian. And this, because it's getting so much great water, look at how huge that is. I mean, it has filled in like nobody's business. And it is still in bloom and it's looking gorgeous. So I love it. My grape hyacinth, the foliage has came back full vengeance. And that's the reason why I don't change this pot out. As decrepit as it is because all the foliage just flops over and it covers it completely. You don't even see the cracks. So until it totally disintegrates, it's here to stay, I guess. But yeah, my grape hyacinths, I don't understand why the green foliage came up, but it's there. My irrigation that I put over here, doing fantastic. Both of these hostas, we'll see what next spring brings, but they were getting overwatered because I had this big leak. And the reason why I had that all taped up in duct tape was because I was rushing to go on vacation, and I just said, oh, fudge it, and I wrapped it to see if it would work and at least water my plants around it the way it was. And now it's fixed, so no more leaks. Looks great, doing good. Do need to bury it in the ground a little bit. And of course, all of my hostas over here, that one got eaten up this year for some reason. They decided to attack that one. But it's becoming the end of the season for all of my hostas, and you would think by now they'd be flopped over and dead. They still do have, to be honest with you, I think around November, that's when they really start weathering and flopping and dying off. And I usually keep all the foliage on the ground because it adds the nutrients back into the ground. So I don't really clean it up in this area. So I just kind of leave it. I may clean a little bit, but for the most part, I just let them do their thing. Finally, my fern. that I placed over here that was huge. I think it's a maidenhair fern. It's finally coming out, and I can't wait till that gets really tall and big and gorgeous like it was when I first planted it there, but it's doing great. And then, of course, I've got my rainbow fizz. That's doing great. My hosta over here is finally weathering down. My, what do you call these? My succulents over here. They didn't totally bloom, but look at how beautiful those look for fall. I mean, they're wanting to bloom, but they don't get enough sun here. But you know what? I'll take whatever flower I get. Even like this, it's beautiful. But they're not flopping over, so that's good news. My winter clematis over here. This one, I keep having to train it to go down because it is a vigorous grower. And I do need to keep trimming it to keep it just looking like this, full. And so that is something that I will be doing. Again, is just trimming up the tips, but it's doing great. This right here is a bleeding heart. This is about the 3rd or 4th season for this plant in this container, and it's finally stayed green in this container. It's finally dying, but it's still, it amazes me how that is still surviving. Then I have another fuchsia in this little small container. It's still blooming. And of course my pride and joy, and I don't know what to do, but that's looking beautiful. My dry creek working fantastic, you guys. It stays dry over here where it needs to, but over here, as you can see, it's got a little wet because it's draining perfectly. And you can see where it rains. And of course, this area here just looks freaking amazing, if I can't say so myself. Now, talking about this red valerian, I talked about how it seeds out. This is a prime example. Here is one of its little seeds, but you pull it out, you can plant this, and it's good to go. I'm just going to dig a hole right here, bury that little baby one right there. But that's how easy they are to pull out. So I don't ever worry about these seeding out. My Dysandra, looking beautiful. It looks a little bare in this area, but I'm not worried about it because the lamium will cover this area. Okay, moving on. Probably spent way more time on this than I needed to. But that concludes my whole south and front garden. Let's go to the backyard. Everything here is doing great. Again, I have another sprinkler over here, and that seems to be working fine as much as I don't care for them again, but it is getting this nice and green. As I mentioned, it kind of weathers down in the summer months, but come fall, they look beautiful. And in the springtime, they look beautiful. This is another type of Japanese fern, and I just absolutely love them. In this container, my oregano hoplite is dying down for the winter, but that's looking great, even this far. But my phobia, I believe this is a bonfire ephobia. That one's doing great. My Dysandra is doing great. So yeah, everything here is looking really, really great. On top of my roof, as you can see, some of my thyme has cascaded down. Looks beautiful. And then I have my pink lilac over here, which is doing fantastic. Everything on this container is doing good. I've got some cilantro over here, and that's doing great. And then up here, where this is my vegetable garden, this is a determinate Roma tomato plant. I still have a lot of tomatoes on that. They're green right now, so I'm gonna harvest it and then take out the plant. But things are doing great there. Over here, everything's doing great. I couldn't be more proud of this hydrangea, which is a broomstruck hydrangea. This one, I had to give it a lot of iron this year to green it up, and it's done great. It's bloomed great, and I'm just happy with it. And look at how beautiful that autumn color is. It is just gorgeous. Absolutely love it. Over here, I've got both of my clematises. This one suffered a lot this year. I'm going to trim it down. It was just getting too much sun in the roots. I'm hoping that I can do something about that next year. But for now, all of my hostas are doing great. And here are my plants. These ones here are the pinnacle hydrangeas that I started from a cutting. And they are still doing great. This one still has greenery on it. This one has green. That one still, I don't know about that one. That one might have not worked out, but we'll see. I'm going to overwinter those, and hopefully they do good over the winter, and then bring them out and plant them somewhere in my yard. But yeah, things are doing great. My heucheras are doing great. And this hot lip salvia, oh my God, you guys. My little guy, my little hummingbird, absolutely loves this plant. But I am thinking that I'm totally going to either remove it or move it further that direction, and then plant probably some more flowers there. Because this just really, as you can see, it just takes over everything. And so I will be trimming this back again. Spider lily over here, looking really great. That one didn't look like it was going to survive over the winter. My Chihuly rose bush is doing fantastic. Everything here is completely done for the season, which I had echinacea, black-eyed Susan, and then I've got some yarrow that finally stopped blooming, and it's all doing great. My pot of gold here is done for the season. My snapdragon plant grew, but it is still green. I don't know. Over here, my kudos ambrosio, I think I'm going to pull that out. It gets really lanky, as beautiful as it is. I'm going to pull it out, maybe do something different. My Russian sage might not be getting enough sunlight back there. We'll see. It does have some blooms. We'll see what next year has to offer. This is another Sylvia. I may pull it out because I think it's going to be too large for right here. And then, of course, here are all of my, these are Kokoshama, and these are more of a late spring bloomers. They're still doing good. But look at how much my tree over here. This is a eucalyptus tree that is a thorn in my side, but it's gorgeous and it's tall and big, but it really throws a lot of debris down. Now, my hop-like oregano plant looks like it's loving it here, so I may end up planting another one. These do get quite large, but I may plant some more here next, probably next summer, because they don't come into season until late summer. So I'll probably plant some more of those next year. But here's my winter oasis, and I will be cleaning this up, not today, but I will be cleaning this up and getting it ready to close up for the winter. That'll be another video. I never did transplant this wild rose, but I did trim it way back. But I do still plan to do something with it. I'm just not sure what. We'll see next spring. Over here, I do have another, what do you call these guys? My mind just totally left me. Clematis. Here's another clematis. This one's gorgeous. It's doing really well here. I did put an irrigation in here. Right here, you can see the little pipe that goes to it. Where is it? Right here. So that one's getting self-watered, doing good. Of course, over the winter, it's not going to, but the rain will feed it, so I'm okay with that. Then my herb garden. Here is my basil garden. It's huge. And my overall big pergola. Things are just still doing really, really well. My banana tree, I overwintered it in this pergola over here. I I think I'm going to take it into my large pergola because it is starting to weather down from the end of the season. And then, of course, my this is another Japanese lantern. I'll put the name down because it escapes me right now. But this one, I really trimmed it back when I opened up my pergola. And look at it. It's doing great. So over in this side of my garden, I'm going to try to harvest what I can, see what I can harvest. I didn't do really well, but I did plant it late in the season. I'm still learning about vegetable gardening. So what I'm going to do is just show you what really did work out. My tomato plants, neither one of them really produced a lot. One of you guys mentioned that it needed more sun. So next year I may move and see how well they do in another area. But for now I'm going to just harvest what I've got and go with that. On this container, my leeks did fine. My golden gate looked healthy, but the tomato plant didn't produce a lot. It does look like it still has some flowers to produce some more tomatoes, but basically what tomatoes I have on it were very small amounts, but there are some green ones. And then the chocolate cherry tomato, it did produce, but again, didn't produce very well. My celery here, still growing, still doing great. The celery right behind it, it was struggling. It probably needs more room. But I have two celeries here that seem to be doing fine still. And of course my leeks, I'll probably pull those out. Finally, my cabbage is starting to form leaves, but really was too late in the season. My mint did fine, even in a container. And then my, what is this? This is a Korabachi. That one and this one finally kind of producing something, but really didn't really do much. I had one cucumber. As pathetic as this plant looks, I got one little tiny cucumber. We'll see how that tastes. And then I did have some jalapenos, but they didn't do as great as I'd hoped. Okay, you guys, that's going to conclude it for this video. I was really hoping to do the cleanup along with the fall tour, but I think that's going to make it for too long of a video. So I'm just going to end it here. And so thank you so much for watching. And you guys, don't forget to get up, get out, and get active. We still have some good weather before the cold snap comes in. So enjoy your outdoors as much as possible. Okay, I will see you guys on the next one. Love you. And thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye.